Hello, my name is Mitto and I want to talk about my favourite games of 2015. I haven't played a whole bunch of games this year, however from what I have played there have been some incredibly unique games that have had a big, considerable impact on me. So I thought it was worthwhile making this list. I don't want this to go on for too long, so I'm going to limit it to my top 5, so let's get into this right away. Number 5 is The Beginner's Guide, which is a game unlike anything I've ever played before. It's by Davey Reedon, who wrote The Stanley Parable. I really enjoyed The Stanley Parable, as everyone does, but I went into The Beginner's Guide not knowing a whole lot about the game, apart from that it was a game about game development. What started off as an interesting concept about Davey and a game developer friend of his evolved into an introspective look into the mind of the creator. It deals with things like the need for validation, death of the author, and how art acts as a mirror rather than a window. Most importantly though, it never feels preachy or ham-fisted. Davey really delivers it very naturally, and from the very beginning I was completely invested in the characters and the story. It's $10 Australian on Steam, it's only about 90 minutes long, and it's definitely worth picking up if you think yourself as a creative sort of type. Number 4 is a game unlike anything else I've ever played, Her Story by Sam Barlow. Using an old police database, you watch videos of interviews with a woman regarding her partner who goes missing and is suspected to be dead. The gameplay here is in the investigation, typing keywords into the database to find new videos and discover more information, which in turn can be put back into the database to find new videos. You pick up on all these little story threads and follow them through, and eventually they all join together and you get to witness this great big tapestry of story that has been formed. The story is interesting and throws some real curveballs in there for you, and that changes the theories that you kind of develop along the way, depending on the order that you've found the videos, which will be unique to every person. The game also has the most natural use of full motion video I've ever seen in a game. Her Story is only $6 Australian on Steam and took me like 4.5 hours to complete. Number 3. The Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt is a game unlike anything I've ever played before. The developers, CD Projekt Red, have taken open world games and RPGs and made the best and most complete version of both of these things in the single one game. My main problem with open world games is that ultimately I get bored doing my own thing, so then I fall back onto the story. However, the stories are usually abysmally weak and barely present. Not here though. The Witcher 3 is incredibly well written and compelling in its main story, its side quests, the characters, the world, its lore. I'm not terribly far into the game yet, especially considering the incredible scale of the game, but I do feel as if The Witcher 3 is as fully realised as games get. It's incredibly ambitious, and somehow they managed to deliver on all the fronts. It's seriously impressive. Though I am really enjoying my time in the game, I'm actually more impressed with how good it is, rather than actually enjoying myself. Second place is Ori and the Blind Forest, a game that is actually quite similar to a lot of other games that I've played, but it just does everything really perfectly. Ori is a Metroidvania game by Moon Studios, and just like The Witcher 3, everything it sets out to do, it does perfectly. Everything about this game is beautiful, from the art and the incredible score by Gareth Coker, which is on Spotify by the way, so go listen to it, to the emotional heft that the story has, and even the way that Ori's movements are so gliding. Although you start off relatively slow and defenseless, every upgrade you get increases Ori's movement, and eventually you begin to feel like movement is more akin to like a symphony, with each move being a note adding to a larger song. In fact, that could be said about nearly every aspect of this game, and because of that, it really is greater than the sum of all its parts. And you don't really understand that until you experience it, and that includes the gameplay, so just watching this game online doesn't really get you the full experience. You have to play it. Its pacing is perfect, giving you peaceful moments to enjoy the world, and then really stressful moments that challenge you. The escape scenes are some of the most difficult but fun platforming that I've ever played. And going back and revisiting this now is actually really nice. All the visuals and the lovely music is just making me feel really nostalgic about the game. It's just really special and magical. It's $20 Australian on Steam, and it's definitely worth picking up. And finally, my favourite game of 2015, and one of my favourite games of all time, Undertale by Toby Fox. Undertale is unlike anything I've ever played before. As someone who's become a bit disillusioned with the comforts that modern games have been resting on, such as just being able to go around and murder everything needlessly, Undertale is a real breath of fresh air for me. Not only can you resolve every conflict in the game non-violently, but it gives the enemies personalities, and there are permanent consequences for killing things. And by permanent, I mean starting a new game won't erase your choices permanent. I already made a video talking about the narrative in Undertale and how easily and early on it invested me, but that wasn't a review, it was a topic of discussion, and there are just so many things that I didn't mention, so many more things that I love about this game. Not only did it immediately pull me in to be emotionally invested and subvert some of the major problems I have with modern games, but it is the funniest game I've ever played, it has an amazing score, every encounter I had was unique, the boss fights are so much fun, the ending was completely unexpected and amazing, and replaying the game creates different situations and endings depending on your choices in the game. I just kind of get Undertale, and more importantly, I think it gets me. I feel like it was kind of made for me, and honestly, it's in my top 3 games that I've ever played. And pretty much the entire thing was done by one single guy, Toby Fox. He even did the score, and he's younger than me, and that makes me feel awful. It's only $10 on Steam, and maybe I've oversold it to you, but if you're someone who grew up playing JRPGs like I did, then this is the game for you. Anyway, that's all I have. If this is the first video of mine that you've watched, hi! I only have a couple of videos up at the moment, but I plan on making more in the future. My idea for this channel is to have discussions about new release games that interest me. This video provides a pretty good understanding of what my taste is like. In particular, I want to be talking about narrative in video games. I do hope you'll join me. This is an idea that works best with community input and discussion. I'll make a video in the new year talking about my most anticipated games in 2016. But until then, happy Christmas, and I will see you then. Bye!